So, a lot of you guys have already played Ultimate Custom Night, as it was released quite a long time ago. Anyways, I can see that a lot of you enjoy this game, and I can understand why.
Oh, see it again. Oh, what? Dude. I am dead. Here I am. D-click. Ah! What? Bird.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
What? Who are you? Who?
And so, the purpose of this video was to just talk about this fascinating game. And so, without further ado, let's begin the video. So, Ultimate Custom Night was supposed to become the 7th official FNAF game created by Scott Cawthon himself. Scott even announced that UCN was going to be his final FNAF game, and everyone was very shocked. But at the same time, he was getting pretty old. So when the game first released, many fans didn't really expect that much of the game. They just thought it was going to be some sort of chill game with no correlation to the lore at all. But boy, were they wrong for that. The amount of FNAF lore in UCN was actually insane. Like, I cannot mention all of the hidden details in this game because there's so much of them. But I will mention a few though. Anyone with a brain can figure out that this game is kind of like a torture chamber, and we have, as a player, have to experience this torture over and over again. And many players have been speculating who the player represents, and for me, I think it's William Afton. Now, based on your perspective, it could be either Michael or William Afton. So, if you think it's Michael Afton, then leave a comment. For William's case, we know that the player is him because of prior events before Ultimate Custom Night. So, in Pizzeria Simulator, and even before that, we find out about a character named Henry Emily, and he was basically the business partner of William Afton. And Henry Emily wanted to get revenge for all the souls that were lost during William Afton's murder spree. Basically, William Afton murdered a bunch of kids, and he even had the audacity to murder Emily's own child, who later on became the puppet. So in Pizzeria Simulator, Henry Emily decided to basically gather up every single animatronic that still had their souls trapped inside of them, including Springtrap, aka Afton. And then he decided to burn the place. What this did was that it allowed all the souls to be set free, and it also allowed for William Afton to burn in hell, as the souls would go to heaven and he would go to hell.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
So after this crazy speech, we know that this is Henry Emily. Like, this voice that we hear, it's obvious that it's him because he refers to Springtrap as my good old friend, and Springtrap is William Afton. So yeah, it's obviously Henry Emily. And also in the speech, he talks about how William Afton is going to hell and how the spirits are going to be sent to heaven. And that's where we enter UCN. And because of the events of Pizzeria Simulator, we know that William Afton will be going to some sort of hell. And if we look at some of the jump scares, we see this.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here. No matter how many times they burn us.
How it feels, and you get to experience it over and over and over again, forever. I will never let you leave.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest.
And so all of these animatronics talk about how you cannot escape and how they want to like keep killing you over and over again. And so that's why many players thought that this would have been William Afton's hell, except it isn't really. We found out later on in the game that this whole game is just a purgatory state, a sort of limbo between life and death for William Afton. Now you may be asking to yourself, who could possibly do this?
He's here and always watching. The one you shouldn't have killed. I have seen him. The one you shouldn't have killed. Greetings from the fire and from the one you should not have killed.
I am remade, but not by you, by the one you should not have killed.
The one you should not have killed. This is another way of just saying Golden Freddy. So this whole game, or this whole torture chamber, was created by Golden Freddy, or Cassidy, in order to torture William Afton for eternity. So now, after that basic history of the game, we can talk about my thoughts and opinions. Now, there could have been some improvements, such as the questionable jump scares, which just look like shaking PNGs, I guess. But aside from that, I think that this was a really good final game, especially since none of us were expecting it to have so much correlation to the FNAF lore. Like, it gave off a Pizzeria Simulator vibe, as with Pizzeria Simulator, no one was expecting much. Same with Ultimate Custom Night, but it became into one of the most lore-based games in the FNAF franchise. And I'm also really happy that Scott was able to use these voice actors. Like, this game has the most voice acting in a single FNAF game. The only time I can ever remember having this much voice acting was in Sister Location, I think. So yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a like and comment, and also subscribe, please. I need to feed my family. I beg you, please subscribe.